Hello, hello, good morning. Welcome to Dan and Minnie's Journey. I'm Dan. I almost forgot my name. How's everybody today? This fine. What are we? Wednesday, Thursday morning here in the Philippines. Good morning, good evening to everyone else around the world. You're in the basement along with Dan. What? You're not in the basement? Okay, I'm in the basement studio. Located in the heart of Bye Bye City Lake Day. No, I'm lying. I'm about a 6 or 7 minute trike ride away from downtown and the Dunkin' Donuts. I don't think I'm going to be in the Dunkin' this morning. I got to tell you, we're heading out after this live stream. We're going to be going to a birthday party we've been invited to. Yeah. One of John's daughters is having a birthday party, one of the expats here. Really good friend. Lots of connections there. We're going to be catching up with him. And we're going to be sharing a meal and celebrating one of his daughter's birthdays. All right. So what I want to talk about today, let's see. Oh, all right. I know this is boring. I know. I apologize to the Filipinas and Filipinos in the room. This is for the couple people that keep sending me stuff in my email account, right? Who I know they have to be listening in the background, right? So I'm going to be talking about a couple things. So there are a couple of you that have sent me emails that don't think that you're going to die. Even I have convinced myself that I'm going to pass away from this planet one day, and that day is coming sooner rather than later. I'm sure. I have more time behind me than I'm sure I have available time ahead of me. And so, so I just want to say, don't leave the responsibility for bearing your for for some Filipino loved one to have to deal with burying you, and then you not leaving any money behind or allowing for that. That's just plain silly. That's about as silly as not having a plan put together for health, for your health and how you're going to treat it when you come over here. I mean, why would you not plan for your eventual demise? I mean, a couple of you have joked with me and you said, "Well, I'm not planning on going anywhere." Yes, I know. Nobody plans on going anywhere, but but the odds are pretty good. If I were a gambling man, which I am, I would put my bet on you're probably gonna go at some point in time. And so when that occurs, nobody knows. But if you're in a relationship, you have a loved one that you know that you care about. Well, do you care about them enough to not provide for your own burial or cremation? That's the thing that I'm getting at. Isn't that the epitome of love right there? Is to not leave the person in your life with the responsibility of having to figure out how they're going to bury you or cremate you or whatever your wishes are. Who I think here it's cheaper to bury someone than it is to cremate them, and in the States it's the actual polar opposite. Hate to send, hate to start this live stream on a downer note, but you know me. I like sometimes the shock value of things. So it doesn't make any sense to me that you would just leave them hanging. You would go on your merry way to wherever wherever you're going, and you would leave the poor Filipina behind to figure out, how to take care of your remains. Minnie O is in the house. Minnie, welcome, welcome. Merry Christmas to you. Anime Reyes is here. Anime, what do you say? Crystal's Adventure is here. In the house. It's always an adventure when Crystals is around. And who else do we have? Jean God is in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Rider Adventure is here. Rider Adventure is here. And we have Rizal. Ooh, wait a minute. Rizal. Let me check this out. Have you been here before? I guess so. So you got who else is here? You got Mike married to a beautiful woman. I think I saw Every Man Repeats a Story pass by. Charmaine is here. Shane is here. Larry Lee is in the house. Tim Deziak is here. LV Rose, what do you knows? LV. You're number one, not number two. Don't ever change. LV, how'd your giveaway go? Or have you had that yet? How'd your giveaway go? Yen is here. Pinky Gray's in the house. Pink, how's it going, Pink? How's everything up in your neck of the woods? Way far north. Are the rains over with? Or is it still raining like crazy there? I told Jen just put my body in the garbage. Well, you might be able to get away with that in the Philippines, but the whole point is to have a plan, right? The whole idea is to talk about it and then devise a plan. That's the most important thing. And leave a few bucks behind for your loved one. So especially if she's not your spouse and she doesn't have any benefits, governmental stuff coming her way, then at least she has a transition period. She'll have a period of time where she can transition back into um, whatever her life was that she had going on before she met you, before you came in there and ruined her life. Jerry, I call South Texas home. Next week I'll be back home. I miss tortillas, tacos, Mexican food. Believe it or not, dairy products, not powdered version of dairy products. Well, they say that ultra pasteurized milk, milk in a box, is okay. I've used it on a couple of occasions. I use it in the coffee every now and again, and it's all right. I mean, it of course it doesn't taste like fresh milk. It's ultra pasteurized, so you won't get sick drinking it. It's not made from powder, I don't think so, but you could use, you get some benefits out of using the powder stuff every now and again. There are benefits to using it. Let's see. Dan, Filipinos do not talk about death. That is why they don't plan. Well, so becoming Filipino is okay, except, just be prepared to have a body hanging around that stinks up the place, right? Shane, how's it going, right? How's it going, Shane? LV giveaway is done. Who won? Oh, it was during your birthday celebration. Okay. Sek Bucci is here. Bakio Mertz, good morning. Good morning. Who else is here? Who else is here? Lots of folks are here. I bet you a few people watch in the background. And then the other thing that's still bugging me, and I know, Crystals, you want me to get off of it. I can never, because they won't get off of the health insurance argument. So like I said in my video, why is it they talk about living like a Filipino when they're talking about housing and food and all this other stuff, but when it comes to healthcare, you don't hear anybody say, not any expats I've ever met, said, I think I'll just handle this like a Filipino does. Right? Why don't you hear that? Why do they go out and they want to spend 10, 12, or $30,000 a year on comprehensive health insurance here in the Philippines? I just don't understand that. Yeah, I'm talking American money. See, I've done this. I've checked all this stuff out, right? So I know how much it costs. I've gone with AXA. I've checked with Cigna Health. I checked with Pacific Prime. I've checked with Pacific Cross. I got all the numbers. And so my best rate for being over the age of 65, first I'll start with the highest rate. The highest rate was Cigna Health. Cigna Health invented the whole thing, international travel insurance. It's good in the United States. It's good anywhere you travel in the world, but you're going to pay $1,200 to $1,500 a month for it. And it's going to be the most comprehensive insurance out there, but you're going to pay for it. The other one, Pacific Cross, you're going to have, depending on what kind of policy you want, because you can get a policy with huge deductibles, it's going to bring down the premium payments. But quite frankly, it could be anywhere from $50 a month for a worthless peso plan, in my opinion, with a whole bunch of limitations and high deductibles, all the way up to the sky's the limit. You could easily spend $5,000 a month on health insurance if you want the most comprehensive health insurance that there is. And of course, the rates keep going up after you turn age 65. So why are you doing it that way? I just don't get it. It drives me crazy. I think that because the folks that are trying to sell you this on YouTube, they're youngsters. They're basically young kids. And once they, the eldest I think I've seen that spew this garbage is 58. How would you know? How would you know if this Pacific Cross or Pacific Prime or whatever, which one you're trying to push? How would you know that this is the cat's meow when you're paying $300 a month, right, which is $3,600 a year American money, and you have a $5,000 deductible every month? You have to, if you have an event that exceeds that, you have to put it on top of your premium payments. So that would mean that you'd be paying $8,800 in the year of the major event, the required hospitalization. So I'm just trying to figure this out. So why wouldn't you go out there and just self-insure? Why wouldn't you just go out there and put $300 a month away, and then when the big day came, you just bust it out? That's what I'm trying to figure out. And then you have no deductibles to pay. Hey, that's amazing. You have no deductibles. You have no $5,000 deductible. You have 100% comprehensive coverage because you're self-insured. But yeah, we got guys out there trying to sell you a $300,000 300,000 peso policy, right? Because they know that that's an easy starter policy to get money in their pocket, with huge deductibles, with maximum payouts every year, right? Maximum payouts, and with a whole bunch of conditions, And so, yeah, you'll get a. It's better than not having anything. I suppose if you're dead broke, paying $50 a month for a worthless policy, if it makes you feel, okay. But why don't you take that money and sock it away? Why don't you put that $50? Why don't you put that $50 in an account somewhere, or put it under your mattress, and then hopefully you can save the money, over a couple of months, and you can start building up your medical emergency fund. I think that they all have it right. All the YouTubers I've ever watched have said, and they've emphasized that what you really need is you need the money already saved before you even embark on a journey. And of course, I believe in that. Of course, but you don't have to have the cash. You could have a credit card hanging around, but you have to make sure that they're willing to accept the credit card. If you had an international one with a huge limit on it, the more the better for emergencies. Don't use it. Just tuck it away in case something happens. So I don't know why they keep sending me, these messages, and then I have to remind them I'm over age 65, and then once I tell them that, they go, "Oh, you're screwed." They never talk about it. They never talk about this subject, based on what happens after you turn age 65 and the premiums start doubling and tripling. They never talk about that part. And you know why? Because that doesn't sell. That doesn't sell on YouTube. Oh, you could come over to the Philippines. You could buy this cheap ass insurance and all your problems are going to be solved. Folks, they're not. By the way, I've said it before on this live stream. Death is an option, and I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't. So, oh, sure, yeah, you're looking at me going, sure, Dan, die, and then tell us about it. Tell us how that went. It's scary. What? Why don't you go watch Bud Brown? What's his name? That just did that video talking about, yeah, in the spirit of transparency, I want to tell you what happened to me. I stopped paying for the Plan B Medicare. And then now, that was 7 years ago. I figured, well, I'm going to live in the Philippines forever, and so I'll stop paying it. And then now he got stuck when his wife got sick. What's his name? Bud Brown. What's his name? Bud Brown. He was in there and he's talking about what his wife experienced and how she had to be hospitalized. And it's a horrible story. When he's talking about it. When he's talking about it straight, factually, even though you can see that he's a little bit emotional about it. But I got to tell you that, I was a crying fool during that, because I felt so bad for him, because I've been trying to tell people, no, if you're in the States and you're coming over here and you're over age 65, you got to do your homework. It's not a walk in the park. You need to get the homework done before you come over here. I have the part A, the part B. I have the supplemental. I've got the drug plan. I got it all. And it's all for $275 a month. And I have the $10,000 ready to go in the event that I get sick. Yeah, he's in the USA. His wife got sick, and she had to be hospitalized. And having just Part A Medicare is okay. Journals is here. Hi, Journal. Nomi is here. Fernandez Bahia is here. So it's okay uh, for paying the hospitalization, but it doesn't cover some of those doctors. You know, when they start getting in there, they want to do CT scans, all that stuff. It's very expensive, and he has yet to reveal how many thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars, this set him back because he didn't have Part B in place or a senior advantage plan. If you're on the West Coast like he is, I'm going to tell you my own personal opinion, and I don't have it, and I'm based on the West Coast, right? So uh, the best plan is Kaiser Senior Kaiser Advantage Plan. They used to call it Senior Advantage. I think it's now called Advantage Plan because they're going to cover they're going to cover the drug, prescription, hospitalization, and doctors. It has co-payments attached to it, but the co-payments aren't going to break the bank. And so people, you know, if you go on YouTube and you start talking about senior advantage plans, they try and talk you out of it. What they neglect to do is they neglect to tell you that, except if you're in an area where Kaiser is the HMO available or the advantage plan available, then you need to sign up with Kaiser because they are, the survey says they are the best of the best of the best. And of course they should be. They're like Cigna Health everywhere else. They invented internet. They invented this whole thing, you know? And so they have it down. They have the whole administrative, the whole thing down. They manage it very, very well. They make money at it. And so I was having a very, very difficult time with this because we just went through the open enrollment period, October 15th through December 7th. And so if I had a chance to change the plan, I should have done it then. And we were in the States during the open enrollment period. But I decided to stick with my supplemental plan for a whole bunch of reasons. The main reason is it reimburses me for the travel expenses. So if you're listening, guy who sent me those nasty emails about the healthcare, I don't know what else to tell you. You know, if you do it, if you do it that way, if you get an advantage plan like Humana, Blue Shield, Blue Cross, and one of the other name, see, I'm still in good shape. And I'll tell you why I am. It's because I also have Aetna drug plan. And if you've been reading the newspaper, Cigna and Aetna have come, they've come together and they're going to try and make a deal to merge. And so, I mean, the whole thing works out for me, even if the merger doesn't take place. You know, it works out even better if the merger takes place because they will give me the option to take a look at the plan again without having to go and wait for the open enrollment. If you watch Bud Brown's last two recent videos, he tells you straight up, he's got that look on his face like, what do I do now? I messed up. So the reimbursement plan works just fine if you have money, but why would you, even if you don't, why would you not be saving for that emergency every month, even if you don't have any money, right? Death becomes you, you know? I mean, for crying out loud. How long were you planning on living anyway? Yeah. Yeah, Etna Signa, Etna Inga, Etna. Every man repeats the story. That's pretty clever. I can't even pronounce that. But yeah, as you know, they're going to merge. Everyone, are you sure the car loan interest rate in the Philippines is 28% for a 5-year loan? Yeah, it's expensive. Dang. All right. All right. So that's answering, let's see, 1, 2. That's answering the 2 that I'm listen, I could hate the way that you guys hated on me, but I'm not gonna. Because it's just fact. It's not, there's hardly, I realize that, you know, with the death thing that can be very emotional, but not for you because you're dead. And the healthcare thing, man, what are you going to do when you it's happened to quite a few YouTubers that they fell out, and that was that. Ron Lynn is here. How are we going to bury him? And then the expat community comes together. They get their funds together to put you in the ground. Holy crap! I can't live nor die that way. I want to make a clean departure. I want it to be clean, gone. You just don't see me. Hey, what happened to Dan? He was on. I saw him yesterday live, and now he's no longer live, right? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm not wishing for it to happen. It just is gonna happen. Woo! All right. So now the other one. Okay. So now this one, folks. For crying out loud, why do you have to go to the Bible? Yes, we're going to draw for 300 pesos. Oh yeah. Why do you always have to throw the Bible at me? The Bible's a pretty thick book, and it's pretty heavy. Especially if you got a hardcover on it. Why do some of you have to throw the Bible at me and then hit me in the temple with it? That's what happened with this one. I got notes. See, I'm writing the whole thing down as it happens. So you want to throw the Bible at me and hit me in the head with Hebrews and Paul, the world according to Paul, and talking about what I said about money. Is money at the root of all evil? I really like this one a lot. It has something to do with my speech or my what was it, a live or a video that I did on mediocrity. Now it's up to you whether you want to strive for mediocrity or not. I certainly listen. If you're in the basement and you need to come up to the first floor, then you're doing okay. Then being at floor level is a good thing, right? I mean, it's so subjective. All I said was I gave you the story on Sporty Harvey as a lesson that if Sporty Harvey had decided he was going to just hang around and just be mediocre, then would we have beaten the segregation laws in sports in the state of Texas and other parts around the world, around the United States? That was the main objective there. People keep wanting turning it into something else. I suppose that you could insist. You can throw the Bible at me for a whole bunch of stuff that I say, right? And then I'm going to refer you back to my introduction. So anyway, it got my curiosity going because I'm not anywhere close to being an expert on the Bible. But I want to read you this. It's the way, some of it is actually the way that I feel about this. By the way, if I'm wrong on stuff, it might take a little while to convince me that I'm wrong, but I will certainly admit to being wrong 0.1% of the time. What does money is the root of all evil mean? And this article comes from MoneyFit, moneyfit.com. moneyfit.org. Hey, I like the org. Let's talk about it for just a minute. What does money is the root of all evil mean? What does it mean to you? So this individual, they sent me some biblical verses, which I had to go in and read and then interpolate on my own. And then I had to come in here and I had to, if money is at the root of all evil. No, it's not the amount of money that you have that's at the root of all evil. It's more the lusting after money that is, and what that can do. That quite possibly could be at the root of all evil, but I don't think so in that case either. But the phrase money is the root of all evil is well known and suggests that the love of money or excessive focus on wealth can lead to negative outcomes, such as greed and selfishness and unethical behavior, all for which I am guilty of. Give me the money. Show me the money. I hope I didn't frighten any of you at home. However, it's important to note that the phrase money is the root of all evil is often misinterpreted to mean that all money or wealth is inherently evil, which everybody knows it is not. So that, because if you accept my money, like we're going to be drawn today, right? Does that make you evil? If you accept it from Dan, even if you look at me and you define me as being a very uh, evil person because of my love of money, if I then transfer it to you, have I sinned, or have you sinned in taking it? That's what I'm curious about, right? In essence, the phrase warns against the dangers of prioritizing money over other important things, such as honesty, integrity, and compassion. They want you to be compassionate. Do you view me as being a compassionate person? And if not, it doesn't matter to me anyway. But I view me as being, as having a certain amount of compassion. Right. So what it suggests is that focusing too much on accumulating wealth can lead to moral corruption and sometimes negative consequences. You can hate money or love money, but it's nearly impossible to be ambivalent about it. And that is true. Whether you hate credit card debt, love the convenience of debit cards, and the rest of it, they come with strong emotions and feelings. We're talking about your beliefs. Well, the expression, money is the root of all evil, has a religious origin in the Bible. Its sentiment is easily understood across religions and cultures, from anti-capitalist and Occupy movements to anti-Western societies. I'm always talking about this, right? The anger over seeming unfairness of financial matters tends to focus on money. And then it gives you a whole history of that, right? So, why am I talking about it? Because the Filipino culture is so Western focused because of its historical underpinnings. And I'll be talking about that in my next video. What is my next video anyway? My next video is probably coming out today, and I'm probably going to talk about that a little bit. I'm going to talk about the history of the Philippines, a little bit, just so you can get a flavor of why we're so connected to Western culture. I mean, if you're Filipino, but maybe if you're from the West, you don't. I mean, there are reasons why folks that live in the West come to the Philippines. It's not just because of cheap housing. But let's talk about housing a little bit, because I like that as a subject too. The main thing about this, that I think, in a general sense, the way I interpolate things, right? And housing happens to be my thing, so I like to talk about that, so I can connect the dots to that. Structure your life. So these are my notes. I'm reading from my notes. I wrote them. They're authored by me. Structure your life so as not to be a burden to others, right? Is the main focus, is the main idea. To remain free of stress is the key, right? And so you can do that a lot of different ways. I mean, this is really interesting because just as I was writing this, I was writing my thoughts about this. I see this thing that comes across one of the newspapers I read, Forbes magazine or New York Times. I don't know which one carried the story. And basically what it was talking about was that small landlords are killing people by charging renters exuberant prices. It was something like that. And I was like, holy smokes. What? And I think they were referring to stress, the stress that it causes as your landlord approaches you and says, "Oh, we're going to have to increase the rent by 20% next month." And you have very, very little protections. And I think the article was about how the federal government is going to take it over. They're going to establish another department, another department of housing and rent to make sure that small landlords don't charge you an exuberant amount of money for rent, so you won't stress and then die of a heart attack early. Uh, but that is one of the reasons that we moved here. How this house came to be that we're living in. So the way you solve that is that you buy or rent a home or apartment that you can afford, without putting yourself in a situation that would be stressful or regretful. But that's difficult to do in the States because it's getting very, very expensive to live. And so, of course, I discovered years ago that about myself that I wanted to relieve that stress of people that were, especially single people that were in school, by providing them an opportunity to rent a room in my house, a house that Minnie and I purchased and lived in prior to coming to Sacramento, that was set up perfectly as a boarding house. That was one of its incarnations in a prior life. So 20 years ago or so, or 20, whatever it was, buy this house, and one of the allures of it, one of the attractions was that it already was set up that way, and so the house was screaming, come in here, fix me up so I can be a boarding house again, or renting bed space or home again. And that's exactly what we did. And so what we did, but I wasn't charging folks crazy rent prices, for the room, for the space. And the reason why is because I'm a very compassionate person. Compassion. And they were very grateful. In return, everybody got along because they realized that, oh, this is a good deal here. I don't want to screw it up, so I will behave. So I mean, but you need to take that same approach if you're from the West. You need to follow what the Filipinos do, and that's the main point of this. What Filipinos do is they do this as part of the cultural acceptance, part of their culture. You see, multi-generational housing in the Philippines is part of the culture. In here, in this house, see, man, I gotta explain to you that I practice what I preach always. And so here in this house, we have 3 generations living in this house. It would be a waste not to offer up somebody the opportunity to live here. We're talking relatives, right? And so this is not a foreign concept to most Filipinos. They practice it. Some households have 3 and 4 generations living under the same roof in their home. So the average age, I think, right now of a Filipino is something like 24 years. And 24 years is, I think, a great age to have this understanding that in order to reduce or create stressors, because in a lot of cases in the Philippines, the stressors don't come from housing like they do in the States. The stressors come from putting food on the table. Generally speaking, housing is somewhere a little bit lower in the pecking order, in terms of costs. It's somewhere a little bit lower. That the main objective is to make sure that everybody in the household that you care for has food to eat and there's food on the table. And so it's a different sort of stressor. But maybe that's where the laughing and the smiling comes in. Maybe that's where the rest of the world gets the idea that Filipinos are the happiest. They're always smiling, even in the face of calamity, they're smiling. So the West, the way you solve it in the West, I've talked about it many, many times, is the way you solve it is the same way. Even if you have exorbitant rents, you go in there with maybe even 2 families. and you rent one house, 2-story. You make agreements about how you'll take advantage of the space. Your family lives upstairs, we live downstairs. Or you even get with 3 families in a household. And that's how you do it. That's the way that the majority of the world does it. And then what you do is you start lowering the stress levels because, or the stress, ideally, stress levels would become lower because folks don't have to deal with having to pay that huge exorbitant amount of rent. And so, however, that being said, right, that being said, I'm not saying I'm not a fan of a landlord being able to dictate what kind of rent they want to charge. I mean, but within limits, within limits. In other words, one of the main benefits of buying your own place and having control over it that way is that if you're renting it out as a landlord that owns maybe 1 or 2 properties, you can keep up with the rate of inflation by raising the rent on the property if need be, thereby keeping up with the rate of inflation. You see, it's a very difficult thing to do if you have rent controls and different things going on, right? But the world is changing. I'm not in charge of anything. I'm just sharing my opinion. But here I am sitting here. I'm not in the States. What do I really believe? I mean, I'm here in the States. I mean, here in the Philippines, I'm not in the States. The house has long been sold. And by the way, you might be interested in knowing that it ended up getting sold to somebody who was going to do exactly the same thing with it. When I talked to their realtor, they said, "Oh, they want a place for which their parents and their children and their children's children can live, and this place is set up perfectly for that." You see? You see what I mean? In other words, there are other people out there that are thinking that way. So I guess the bottom line is, that it isn't the earning of money and what you do with it. What it isn't it's the lusting after it that they're talking about in the Bible. And I had a very, very difficult time convincing the folks that well, they weren't really attacking me because you know, both of the people that sent me these emails, they were very kind and approached it from an intellectual point of view. So, I was grateful that way. They weren't saying, "Hey, you idiot, don't you know anything, for crying out loud? You're as stupid as that rock over there. You're as dumb as that rock over there." No, nobody attacked me that way, but they were pretty firm in their belief. And I pointed out, hey, quit taking the thing so literally. I mean, you keep using all these control words, you know what I mean? They keep using all these control words. You must, you must, you must abide by my words. Not like that, not exactly like that. They were very kind, but that's what I was getting out of it. I wonder if they knew. I wonder if they knew that that's the impression that I was getting. So no, I'm sticking with what I said. That's the bottom line. I don't agree that a person just be accepting of their of mediocrity. I don't believe it. And as far as the money thing goes, go out there and earn as much as you want, but don't lust after the stuff that your neighbor has. Don't lust after their wife. How about that? Those are words to live by. Oh, by the way, before we move on, yay, we're moving on. Yeah, we're moving on to drawn. But I want to share something else with you, right? So I've got a bridge back here, right? And we've been giving out candy to the carolers. And so what ends up happening, of course, is what you think ends up happening. I take one of those, they kind of look like a Tootsie Pop, but they have a little harder shell. So I'm thinking Tootsie Pop days, and I'm going to go, crunch on it in order to get to that soft, chewy center, right? And so I'm like, one crunch, and then there goes my crown. Now, here's the problem with this crown, right? Here's the problem with the one I got. This is really old, like the one in the back, but it's a bridge crown. That means there are 3 teeth in a row that would all have to be replaced. The other 2 are in great shape. The one that cracked is the one way in the back, right? The very last tooth. What's the number 30? Is it a number 30 they call it? I know I'm not a dentist, nor do I play one on TV. But one time a dentist told me, if this one ever cracks, you know what I would do? I go, what? He said, if this one ever cracks, I would just take my machine and I would just break it off. I would break that one off and let it stand alone, even though it's bridged, right? Even though it's bridged. And I go, and that way you wouldn't have to pay all this money for all 3 of them in a row. And this was a dentist in the States, and I was kind of like, what? Huh? You would do that? He goes, yeah, I would do that. Because I'm not sure it's worth the money of grinding that thing out of there to make sure the post is in good enough shape in order to put another crown on top. So I remembered what that dentist said, right? I remember what that dentist said. And here in the Philippines, it would cost $500 for all 3 to replace all 3 of those crowns. I'm willing to do it. I got the money to pay for it because, of course, I've been saving my medical fund for just a thing like this, right? But then I started thinking, hey, wait a minute. I'm not really, it's more cosmetic than it is function because it sheared off on the side, right? And so I'm not in a hurry to go get it done. I'm not buying 100% into what the dentist in the USA told me, but I could see where he was coming from. He was old school dentist, he was like, that's going to cost you a ton of money. See, that thing would cost 10 times as much to fix in the United States and quite possibly more, because what they're afraid of is that I will have to have a post sunk in there. That I would need more. I would need more than just the 3 teeth, the bridge replaced. I would need more than a bridge replacement. They would have to, what do they call it? They would have to do more work in there and sink a post in there. And if the bone is deteriorated to the point where they need to put a cadaver bone in there, I'm screwed because that's going to cost several $1,000s, even here in the Philippines. You need to go to an oral surgeon, and plus it'll take a long time because you have to wait for that bone to rebuild itself. So I know why the dentist didn't want to get involved in that. Just said, hey, why don't we just leave it alone? So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I'm thinking I should be leaving it alone for right now. So listen, I got the money to pay for it, but I'm worried about the same thing that dentist years ago that I saw was concerned about, that this is going to cost hella money if that post that's sitting on is not in good shape. All right, so now we're going to do a survey. 1, Dan, go to the dentist and get it replaced. 2, let it play out until there's nothing left of that tooth back there. All right, enter now. Give me your answer now. One, all right. 1, we replace it. What did I say? 1, we replace it. And 2, we wait until it becomes dust. Where are you guys? Who's listening to me talk? Where are you people? Anime's smiling, What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Oh, yeah. So he's at $20K for public, $30K for cremation. That's one of the things. Well, I don't know. It all depends on what kind of insurance that you have. Tim says, you've already lived in the Philippines for like 15 or 20 years. Okay, so Knitband says number 2 on that tooth. Damn, people want to know how to join up for the drawings. Oh, just send me a private message through Messenger chat and I'll get you in. If you don't have my Messenger chat, just ask somebody for it. They will send it to you. If you have a friend that's in here, ask them and they'll tell you where to find me. But it's Daniel Herrera on Facebook. And there are a million of us. Yeah. Yeah, plan your death ahead. Exactly. 70K USD is a lot of money. I'd rather get cremated. Yeah, that's right. It's a lot of money. In fact, I think now, Jerry, there are more cremations taking place in the States than there are actual buriers. So everybody is figuring it out. And plus, we don't have land that's forever. They already have a land shortage here in the Philippines. You know, they stack them on top of each other, right? Okay, so folks aren't telling me. Is it one or two? One, have the crown replaced, or the bridge replaced, I should say, because it's really 3 teeth. It's a $500 bill. Or wait till it turns to dust. And so far, that's number 2. So far, number 2. Oh, there's Del Grady is back. Okay, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to try making you a moderator again. Yay! Finally successful. Del Grady is now a standard moderator. Okay. All right. So what would you guys do? Have it replaced or not? Nah, maybe that's not going to work, right? Because you got it's you think about the cost, right? And it's very, very expensive here in the Philippines in any case, whether you go with number 1 or you go with number two. Hey, even if you guys are listening in the background, I'm okay with it. It's time to draw. I'm going to wait until it turns to dust. I select number 2. It's because it's a metal crown, right? And so the coat, the coating, whatever they put on it, the enamel, if you will, it's starting to shear off, right? But the surface of the tooth, I can still chew. And that is my dominant side, the right side. And so I'm chewing on the right side. If you can recall, I already had a crown replaced on the other side. So that one's done. But I chew on my dominant side, the right. And so that's the side that I'm having all kind of problems. All right, so I posted that. One more thing before we draw. I posted that miniature. It didn't come out. So, I mean, it's doing well in terms of view. In terms of view count, it's doing just fine. But that actual, I'm talking about the mango shake one we did in the miniature, the small blender. So if you look at that thing, is only like, it's only like this big, and it came out looking like a regular blender in the short video. So I had it. All I did was just go in there, enhance the sound a little bit, raise the volume, things like that to make it interesting, to see if I get some ASMR play on it, and that's what I did. And so it looks like it's doing good. Timing's everything too. When you upload these things, timing is everything. And if you saw fried wedgies yesterday, it did horribly, But I'm gonna reload that one. I'm gonna make you suffer. I'm gonna reload. I always get one person that says, there's the same person every time, says, Dan, that's a lot of oil, Dan. But you guys think that I'm eating that stuff after we fry it up, right? You think that I'm eating all that stuff. I am. Can't help it. It's very yummy. Ma'am Minnie. I have to look for Ma'am Minnie. Oh my goodness gracious. Ma'am Minnie, I don't know what happened. All my paperwork is missing. I don't know. I can't keep track of it. You didn't touch it. She see that? She didn't touch it. So she don't care where it is. All right, come on over here. We're going to draw There's Man Minnie ready to go to the party. Her face is made up.
Everybody.
All right. All right. What do we got? What do we got? I'm not showing you yet. I'm not showing. Oh, I don't know. We probably have a winner right out of the gate. We probably have a winner right out of the gate. Let me see.
Good morning and
Oh, well, I don't think so. Okay, we have number 38. First call out for It's Me, Rye.
Good morning.
Number 38, first call out. It's Me, Rye. Number 38, second call out for 300 pesos. It's Me, Rye. Number 38, third call out for 300 pesos. It's me, Rye. Must say present. Must be present to win. Say present, number 38. Mildred's in the house. Hi, Mildred. She, Dakara, is in the house. Fourth call out for number 38. Must be present to win. All right. Fifth and final call out for number 38. It's me, Rye. I think it's Rye. It's me, Ray, Rye. Must be present to win. Yeah, I read about that, Grandpa Jim. Yeah, here in California, the legislature passed a bill approving recycling toilet water for drinking water. Sounds yummy. Well, let me ask you a question. Will my drinking water bill go down? There's some people in the Philippines, Jim, that might suggest we're already drinking toilet water. We drink bottled water here, and it's cheap right now. See, I got some right here. Nature Spring even has a yummy name. I saw that on YouTube. It's a little bit alarming, but hey, if it tastes good, I'm not so sure I care where it came from. Especially if they will they recycle my own waste, mine, and then send it back to me saying this is yours. You're the one. This came from you, so you should be okay drinking the water. Oh God. Oh God. California. Ooh. All right. The next one. Ooh. 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 All right. The next one. Let me see. Let me find it first. Let me find it first. Wow, this is number 80. This is the first time we pulled number 80. Number 80. Mama Gunplas. Gunplas. First call out. Must be present to win. Number 80. Momet. That's it. Momet, number 80. Second call out. Must be present to win. Number 80. Third call out for 300 pesos. Momet, Gunplas, must be present to win. Thank you, Larice. Fourth call out for Momet, Gunplas. Number 80. Must be present to win. Momet. Mumai. Fifth and final call out for Momet. Gunplas must be present to win.
Where are you, Mommy?
Oh man, that's a shame. Okay. That's number 80. All right. Let's go again, man, Minnie. Let's go again. Where are we going today? Birthday party, right?
Yes.
Birthday party, John's daughter. I like this number, but will we have a winner? Well, I think we might. I think we might. All right, here we go. I'm all excited. I'm all excited because I saw a writer adventure early on in the live number 94. Writer adventure. Writer adventure. First call out number 94. Must be present to win. Present. Yahoo! Hey, Writer Adventure, don't forget to send me your your Gcash number in my messenger chat. That'll make it easy for me because I'm really lazy these days. Every day I get lazier and lazier, and I will forward that 300 pesos to you ASAP. Okay, so what else is going on? What else is going on? I think that's a wrap for today. I am going to be doing one live stream per week in the evening because my algorithm, my analysis that YouTube sends me says, hey, you should be on at 7, 8, or 9, or 10 at night in the Philippines time. And so we'll figure out what day that's going to be. And then as far as Christmas coming up, I don't know when. I think I could go through the 23rd would be my normal live stream schedule. And I probably will hold to that. And that way, we could send more winnings out. That way we have a few more days to send a little Christmas cheer out. So we'll do that. So, but keep your eye on the schedule for whenever I decide to do the evening one, which could be anytime. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. All right, everyone. Larry Lee, if you're here and you would please get us out of this live stream. I truly appreciate it. Here he is. Larry Lee, remember to be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe and healthy. Plus, always try to have fun. Words to live by.
Thank you,
folks.
Larry.
Thank you, Larry. See you guys later. We're out.
Bye.